Hello my soccer universe, to a review of Bundesliga round 23, the first one of the playoff rounds. We have of course the Champions League playoff, which is the top 6 teams, and the qualification round, or I like to call it relegation round, although officially it's called the qualification round, which are of course the bottom 6. Unfortunately LASK is in there this time. However, I don't feel so bad about it this time than I did 3 years ago when we also fell into that group. And it was a really weird round. No home wins. That doesn't happen too often. And if you look just on my background, there are 2 purple teams up top that performed really well, both of them getting away wins. And then Salzburg, who comes from a purple club, also won. So it was a really round for purple clubs. And you know, there are 2 blue clubs down there that lost those respective games as well. As for LASK, yeah, winning start. It looks really good if you look at the table. However, if you watch that match, you need quite some luck to get those 3 points. Also shows that I guess the relegation battle will be a really tight one, because Altach played anything but a team that is about to get relegated. Actually played more like a mid-table team, and they know how to survive. I also have to say that at least 2 of the 3 matches were not typical qualification round matches where you would expect a lot of fight, tackling and so on. No, they were rather open matches showing quite some nice ball as well. So I was really surprised about this. But I also need to say something about the top. I mean, the title race is on. Now, Austria Vienna is 2 points clear of Sturm Graz, 2 points ahead of Salzburg. I think it's between those 3. Again, 9 rounds to be played. Maybe others could join in. It is rather tight, but it seems to be between those 3 teams, and the way Sturm Graz are trending, interesting. But before we review the matches, there's also a major news item coming out of the international break where Austria, doing so and so. GAK changed their coach again for the 2nd time. René Poms was fired, although he seemingly had gotten the turnaround for GAK and got them back into contention. However, seemingly things with his squad did not click all that well. And so they appointed Ferdinand Feldhofer, former Sturm Graz, I don't want to necessarily say legend, but a very prominent Sturm Graz player. So this is a dicey appointment. That much is for certain. He just got fired from Cercle Bruges, where he took over also midway through the fall. So yeah, kind of weird, the whole situation. GAK used to be run with a whole lot of stability, and now they already changed twice coaches. It's the first promoted team in a long time that actually were struggling to keep up. I actually like GAK in the Bundesliga because they bring a lot of fans, and this is such a traditional team. However, the way they have been run and they're playing, it just does not click quite well. And of course, after this round is also before a major match for LASK. Talk about that towards the end of this video. Boy, LASK get the 3 points on the start to the qualification/relegation round, however you wanna call it, but this was really tough work, and you needed a ton of luck to get those 3 points over the line, because Altach, yes, that's the last place team, but they didn't play like a last place team. They were arguably the better team over the entirety of the 90 minutes. They started out bright. They had a pretty good chance already early on when Andrade, on his comeback after a lengthy injury, spilled the ball, and Mustafa was running through a goal, but Bello with a nice tackle got it off him. But after 20-25 minutes, LASK settled the game, were better in the game, earned a free kick towards the edge of the box, and Danek whips it in, and Andrade on his comeback heads it home for the lead for LASK. A little bit against the run-out play at that point. However, such a feel-good moment, because he has been out for the entire fall with a cruciate ligament injury, and then he also just became a daddy for the first time in the past week. So really feel-good moment there, and LASK actually had then the upper hand. There was a great chance by Daniren in there, the way he takes down the ball from the air and moves forward, takes a shot, maybe should have seen the other attackers in the box, but I guess a striker will always go for a goal. Was also a good save by Stojanovic, and so it goes with a LASK lead into the halftime break. Slightly lucky, I would say, but you could see that LASK is overall the team that is better and can deal with such situations probably a little bit better as well. Adeniran had to be taken off at halftime because there was a clash in the box and he for a little bit didn't know where he exactly was. So for safety reason he was taken off, but Altach brought Gorgon on, and I'm not kidding, for the next 45 minutes Altach had a power play around the LASK box. It felt like LASK only crossed the halfway line one single time. That was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. On the other side, they overall also defended well, but they were also a bit riding the luck, admittedly, because Fredrikas was really off target. I mean, there was a great chance where, again, it was Andrade who spilled the ball, and it goes to Mustafa, who finds Fredrikas, who first gets blocked by Ljubic, and then on the rebound by Laval. So that was a save, and then it is Gorgon who just came out that spills the ball in the 59th minute, and Lang runs over the halfway line alone onto the Altach goal, sees Danek on the right, Entrup in the middle was holding up two defenders, and Danek from the outside of the box nicely curls it in. 2-0 LASK, and you thought this is it. Well, yes, it was it, because Altach on this day, they could have played for another hour and wouldn't have scored. But they exerted so much pressure and played really, really well. And Fredrikas had a goal disallowed because there was an offside in the build-up where Laval just could get it behind the line out, and he hit from a really good angle only the post. He had another good chance. So yeah, it was really, really iffy. Andrade, who had not only scored the goal but also gave away two big chances, came off, and Jerome Boateng came on. But I have to say, all the exchanges by LASK were more or less not filling me with confidence. I saw, yeah, we're shoring up the defense, and I give it to them. Defensively, it looked alright, but offensively, I knew we're not gonna score, and I really had the feeling if Altach would have scored there, we would have needed a third goal. Was never going there. They see it out. It's a winning start, and actually put LASK in a really good position to start this qualification round. On a very wet pitch, GAK and WSG only play out a 0-0 draw, a point that doesn't really help either of them, because with a win they could have distanced themselves from Altach already. It was a game that deservedly ended 0-0. Yes, each team hit once the post, but you know, each team had their short phases. Maybe Tirol, the little bit more settled team on the other side, Ferdinand Feldhofer on his debut, you could see that he's trying to get some ideas in. But yeah, 0-0. Let's see which of these teams will get drawn really into the relegation battle. It was an equally wet pitch in Hartberg, however the game was a whole lot better. Those are two teams that were in the championship round last season, and the game reflected that actually. Despite Klagenfurt being a little bit in danger of getting dragged into the relegation fight, but Klagenfurt really played well and deservedly got the 3 points. After I gave Hartberg the lead in the 12th minute already, but then they were more or less just trying to hope to see it out, and just before the halftime break, Toshevsky gets the equalizer. So it goes level on scores into the halftime break. After having 63rd minute, it's again Toshevsky who gives Klagenfurt the lead, but then Hartberg actually ramp up the pressure and do get the equalizer through Mijic on a tap-in, because actually there was a really good shot before that, kind of acrobatic, but Mijic gets it over the line. And when you thought that this game is also gonna end with a draw, it's again Toshevsky who scores his third goal of the afternoon after Bob's in assist in the 84th minute. Maybe Hartberg would have deserved an equalizer, but this was a big win for Klagenfurt that moves them closer to survival. Austria Vienna continued their incredible streak with a win at Blau-Weiß Linz, a ground where they lost in round 1 and were already looking in danger. How the tables have turned. And they got the win on the back of a really quick start, with Fitz already scoring the first goal in the 2nd minute and Reinhard Ramftl adding the second one in the 17th. Then the game actually got more and more level. Blau-Weiß Linz were not that badly in the game. Actually, they controlled a little bit more, especially in the second half, and probably would have deserved a goal. However, the Austria defense once again held tight. Huge 3 points for Austria Vienna. That also sees them now go top of the table. Because Sturm Graz, and I would argue expectedly, dropped points at Wolfsberg. However, this time they at least get a point because they've lost the previous two duels 3-0 each. and it looked like it's gonna go the same way because Pink are in the 3rd minute opened the scoring for Wolfsberg, where the entire Sturm defense didn't look good, including goalie Skerpen, who just let the ball pass through his hands, but that was really amateur defending. However, Wolfsberg missed the chance to double the lead, and Sturm got better in the game, actually did create a little bit more chances and got the deserved equalizer in the 72nd minute through Horvath. Yes, chances to win it on both sides, but it does end up in the draw, and Sturm Graz not first in the table anymore. And also the 6th home team cannot register a win this round, the first one of the playoffs, with Rapid losing to Salzburg 2-0 at home in a curious game. First of all, it was curious because the sector where you usually find the Rapid Ultras was closed because of the fights that happened in Hartberg a couple of weeks ago. And so it was kind of an eerie atmosphere, with even the main stands not being entirely full. However, I don't want to argue that Rapid was bad in play. It was just that when you look at the game, Rapid tried similar things as Salzburg, and the game was, I don't want to say open, but it was lively. But Salzburg had the better players, and as a consequence, they take the lead already in the 37th minute through Vertessen, and Vertessen then doubles it up right after the halftime break to make it 2-0, and then they actually held tight. But the big talking point coming out of that game is clearly the red card for Grgic, and it's one of the weirdest red cards that you will ever see. It was in the 69th minute. Grgic had an injury, he was treated off the pitch. He actually got substituted out, and as he's walking towards the bench, it seemed like that the referee is waving him in, because he, of course, thought that he didn't get substituted, he didn't register that one. And so Rapid, for just a moment, is with 12 players on the pitch because the referee allowed him in. The referee realizes that, and so Grgic gets a second yellow card and is sent off. That really doesn't seem right, because it was the referee's error. But yeah, this is the big talking point coming out of that one. The other talking point is, of course, that Rapid continued their rather rough form in the league and against top opponents. At the moment, they're not doing well. Salzburg, though, get vital 3 points, still 4 points behind Austria Vienna, but only 2 to Sturm Graz. So the title race is actually becoming one, and I think Salzburg will join up relatively soon. Now let's look at the current standings, and we have 2 tables now. We have the championship round on top and we have the qualification round on bottom. And I spent a whole lot of time calculating probabilities qualifying through the league. Rapid in principle has a chance of winning the Conference League to also get into the Europa League. I did not account for that, although this would actually be a valid point as well. I have not done this in my calculation, but you see that now the chances of becoming champions, then of finishing in a Champions League spot, that will only get you, if you're champions, into the playoff, and if not, you're starting, I think, actually in the second qualification round. Then in the Europa League, I think you also go into the playoff, but that is given to the cup winner. So you see 4 teams that are in a semi-final in the orangey columns. Those are the teams that go into the cup. However, should the cup winner finish up in the top 2 spots, or in the top 3 spots, then 3rd spot also goes into the Europa League. And then we have the Conference League, where Austria has 2 spots, 1 directly, and then it is a playoff. It also very much depends on the cup winner of who will qualify for the playoff. It's complicated. We'll talk about it when we really get there. We soon know a little bit more about the cup winner as well. But if you look at the table, the biggest chance on top is Austria Vienna is clear now. 2 points out of Sturm Graz and then Salzburg. It's really exciting, and now the chances of winning the championship are also a little bit more level. Salzburg, because they're trailing by 4 points, are still a little bit lower, but I really think that Salzburg is in the title race. The other 3, I think, are out of it. Wolfsberg probably had a chance, don't quite see it. On the bottom, LASK now enjoy a 5-point lead on top. Yes, this is deceptive, because 9 points, it can go really, really quickly. However, I'm already relieved that you have a 10-point cushion to last place, and in theory, LASK should romp through this round, get into the playoff, maybe win a trophy as well, and you're back in Europe. So I actually think the chances for LASK qualifying for a European competition don't look that bad. And before the upcoming round, we have the Cup semifinals. And this is the biggest date for LASK of the season so far. They have a home game against Wolfsberg. If you win the Cup, the first title since 1965, so it's a 60-year wait for a title. and you have reached your season's goal. It seems like this is the big opportunity, and the home game against Wolfsberg is just made for it. However, LASK have lost both games against Wolfsberg this season, although there are some caveats there. The first one, the 5-1 home loss, yes, a 5-1 home loss, was when they were really down after being eliminated by Sturm Bucharest, and where it was kind of a last-ditch squad, and our old coach Daraš really went with full risk and lost accordingly. And then the second one was the away game at Wolfsberg, which was the last game of the year 2024, where, yeah, you had a 1-0 lead and you kind of threw that one away. The one thing that has me worried is that at home against Wolfsberg, LASK is usually not doing that well, and also their coach is Didi Kübauer, who of course not too long ago was a LASK coach and was fired under rather contentious circumstances, because he was the last coach where I think LASK played really well. So that must sting. It's a huge matchup. If you qualify for that final, I mean, this would be such an achievement. However, it's not an achievement if you don't win then the whole thing. The second semi-final, I think, is a little bit more of a foregone conclusion. Hartberg are not in a good form at the moment. Austria is in really good form, so you would expect Austria Vienna to win that one easily, because Hartberg is coached by former Austria Vienna legend Manfred Schmidt, who was also a coach 2 seasons ago. So similar signs like between Wolfsberg and LASK. However, anything but Austria Vienna in the final would be a huge surprise for me. And so I'm looking at a potential LASK against Austria Vienna final. Yeah, not too positive about that one, if I'm very honest. So that was that. As you can already feel, it is a huge week coming up. 2 LASK home games. I only talk about the cup so far because I will shoot a video afterwards. Win or lose, I gotta make that video. I'm a little bit nervous about that one, but if we win that semi-final, we are going to Klagenfurt. That much I can tell you. We are going to that final, the whole family, so I really would love to give them that experience. And maybe for the first time in my life I could witness a trophy, but you know, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let's first win that semi-final, and that might be a tough one. It's also on a school night, yeah, but the kids said they will join. Any case, please let me know everything that you thought about this round. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. I will talk to you soon about more things in my Bundesliga universe. Bye! Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, here are some videos and playlists that you may enjoy too. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the little bell icon so you get notified whenever something happens in my soccer universe. And with that, have a wonderful day. Bye!